The galaxy was vast, silent, and full of stars, each one a sun to 1,000 worlds. Among them, human colonies were small but stubborn dots of light. On these planets, humans lived, built, and dreamed, often far from the attention of the great galactic empire. To the empire, humans were insignificant, an emerging species with primitive ships, primitive colonies, and primitive ideas. They were a curiosity, nothing more. Yet, humans had a secret the empire would soon discover. They were clever, adaptable, and fearless. They were not easily intimidated. On the blue and green planet of Arden, orbiting a yellow sun at the edge of the Milky Reach, humans were going about their ordinary lives when the first Imperial signals were detected. High above Arden, the observation towers blinked red. "Commander Hayes," a voice called urgently over the intercom of the Arden Defense Station, "we have incoming ships. Multiple signatures, extremely fast and heavily armed." Commander Elena Hayes, a veteran of many skirmishes in the outer colonies, did not flinch. She leaned over the holographic star map, watching the incoming fleet. The blips on the display moved with smooth precision, the shape of perfection. Imperial warships, sleek, gray, and deadly. "How many?" she asked calmly. 35 confirmed, sir. Sensors indicate more are on the way. They are large, heavily armed. And they are scanning us, replied Lieutenant Juno Parks, her eyes wide as she adjusted the sensors. Hayes tapped the table. "Alert all defense units. Prepare human ships for combat, but do not panic." There was a pause. In every other species the Empire had faced, a warning like this would have caused mass panic. Not on Arden, not with humans. "They won't expect us to fight back," Parks muttered. "Not like this." "That's exactly why we will," Hayes said, a small, confident smile forming on her face. She turned to the station crew. "All pilots to your ships. Stay calm, stay clever. Remember, humans never back down." Far above Arden, in the cold black of space, Imperial scouts approached. Their sensors picked up human activity. Small stations, mining ships, civilian freighters, but nothing that seemed threatening. The Empire's intelligence reports had underestimated humanity before. They were confident that this would be another easy occupation. Captain Ryloth Vane, commander of the approaching Imperial fleet, gazed at the holographic display aboard his flagship, the Dominion's Edge. The ships were magnificent, streamlined, armed with plasma cannons, shields powered by the latest quantum reactors. "The humans cannot possibly resist us," he said to his officers. "We are the Galactic Empire. Resistance is meaningless." His second-in-command, Admiral Corrin, nodded, though uneasily. "We've faced countless civilizations. None have lasted more than a few hours against our fleet. Why should they be different?" "Because humans," Vane said quietly, "always think differently." He shook his head. "But that will not matter. Destroy the defenses. Take the planet. Show them what the Empire is." Back on Arden, humans prepared. Not with fear, but with a strange, calm energy. They had spent years studying possible threats from space. They had trained for this moment, and most importantly, they had their ships, small and agile, but extraordinarily clever. The human fleet gathered near Arden's orbit. Ships of all sizes, from sleek fighters to heavy freighters converted into battle cruisers, moved in formation. Pilot Squadron Leader Mara Quinn checked her controls. Her ship, the Starhawk, hummed beneath her hands, ready to follow every command. "We've been waiting for this," she said softly, more to herself than anyone else. Her co-pilot, Liam Rojas, looked nervous but excited. "You're not scared?" Liam asked. "Scared of what? Big metal boxes that think they're smarter than us?" "They'll see soon enough," Mara replied with a grin. The first shots came faster than expected. Imperial warships opened fire with energy beams that cut through the darkness like deadly streaks of light. Humans dodged, not by chance, but by instinct and preparation. Their smaller ships twisted and turned, weaving through the massive beams, their shields flaring under the energy strikes. The Empire expected fear. They expected surrender. Instead, they found laughter. "Ha! Too slow, Empire! Mara shouted over the comms, twisting the Starhawk around a massive plasma blast that would have destroyed an unprepared ship. "Focus, Mara!" Hayes's voice cut through the channel, calm and commanding. "Hit the flank! Use the asteroid field!" A nearby asteroid belt became their ally. Human ships dived into the field, disappearing among massive floating rocks. Imperial sensors tried to track them, but the human ships slipped through undetected, striking the Empire from unexpected angles. The battle became a dance of chaos. Every human pilot seemed to anticipate the Imperial moves before they happened. Even the most advanced AI calculations of the Empire could not predict the humans' actions. On the Dominion's edge, Captain Vane watched, incredulous. "Report," he barked. Admiral Corrin hesitated. "Sir, they're evading every attack. Our weapons, they cannot hit them consistently. They are unpredictable." Vane slammed his fist on the table. "Impossible. They are only humans." "Humans," Corrin said quietly, "are different." In the midst of the chaos, humans launched counterattacks. Using small, fast ships, they struck at Imperial supply lines, disabling engines, cutting communications, and sowing confusion. Their attacks were precise, surgical, and brilliant. "Commander Hayes," Parks reported, "the Empire's formation is breaking apart. They're regrouping, but it's messy." Hayes smiled. "Good, let them see. Humans are never cornered. We adapt, we fight, and we survive. Let them learn that lesson now." Meanwhile, civilians on Arden watched from observation stations and surface shelters. They saw their defenders darting among the Imperial beams, striking and disappearing. They saw humans laugh in the face of enormous ships. They felt pride swell in their hearts. This is amazing," said a young boy, pointing at the sky. They're winning," an elder beside him nodded. "Humans always fight smarter, never just stronger. Watch and learn." Back in space, Mara Quinn executed a daring maneuver. She led a squadron of fighters in a loop around an Imperial dreadnought, narrowly avoiding its plasma cannons. Then, in one sudden movement, the fighters fired at the dreadnought's engine ports, causing a massive explosion. The huge Imperial ship wobbled, then drifted, crippled. "Did you see that?" Liam shouted, astonished. "We actually did it," Mara laughed. "Of course we did. We're humans. We don't give up." Captain Vane's fury grew. The Empire was supposed to be invincible. And yet, here they were, humiliated by a species they considered insignificant. "Send reinforcements," Vane roared. "Crush them. Show them no mercy." But the humans did not fear reinforcements. They simply adapted. Using the planet's gravity, asteroid fields, and clever decoys, they turned every new attack into an opportunity. They struck back harder, faster, and smarter. Hayes watched the holographic display. "Prepare the next wave," she said. "We'll show them that humans don't just fight for survival. We fight for pride, for home, for each other. And most importantly, we fight for laughter. Because no threat is too big to make us smile." The first day of the battle ended with the Imperial fleet forced to retreat temporarily. They had underestimated humans. They had assumed fear, confusion, and surrender. Instead, they found laughter, courage, and cunning strategy. On Arden, the skies lit with celebration. Humans cheered for their defenders, for the ships that danced through death and destruction, and for the spirit that refused to break. Commander Hayes looked up at the stars, her eyes calm and proud. "They laughed at us," she said softly, "but we are humans, and we always find a way. Tomorrow, we show them just how clever we can be." And above the planet, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging that a new chapter in galactic history had begun. The humans had faced the Empire, and they had laughed. The morning after the first clash, the humans on Arden were already planning their next move. Commander Elena Hayes stood in the command room of Arden Defense Station, surrounded by her officers, pilots, and tactical analysts. The stars outside the viewing ports seemed calm, almost indifferent to the chaos of yesterday. Yet, hidden in that calm was a galaxy of danger, waiting for the humans to respond. "Report," Hayes said, her voice steady. What is the status of the Imperial fleet? Lieutenant Juno Parks quickly brought up the holographic display. The Empire has regrouped about 50,000 kilometers away. Their fleet is damaged but still formidable. They are sending reconnaissance probes to map our positions. Hayes nodded. Good. Let them map. Let them see what humans can do. Prepare the ships. Today, we fight smarter, not just harder. Far above, in the cold vacuum of space, the Imperial fleet was also regrouping. Captain Ryloth Vane paced the deck of the Dominion's Edge, his armored boots echoing against the steel floor. They are clever, he admitted to Admiral Corrin. Too clever for their size. Every attack we make, they adapt. Every advance we try, they counter. Corrin frowned. They're humans, sir. Small, fragile, insignificant. And yet, they survive. Vane's eyes narrowed. They survive because they think differently. Because they don't follow the rules of war we are used to. We have underestimated them. That ends today. The Imperial fleet surged forward, faster this time, relying on sheer firepower and intimidation. They believed that overwhelming force would crush the humans quickly. But humans never relied on force alone. On Arden, humans readied their ships for what they called the Nebula Maneuver, a plan designed to use space itself as a weapon. Hayden fields, asteroid belts, and uncharted nebulae near the planet would hide their movements, confuse sensors, and allow humans to strike where the Empire least expected. Pilot Mara Quinn adjusted her helmet and checked her controls. Today, we teach them a lesson, she said to co-pilot Liam Rojas. They think they are untouchable. They haven't seen humans fight like this. Liam nodded. We're faster than their calculations, smarter than their machines. Let's show them why humans never give up. The Imperial fleet approached the nebula near Arden, confident in their numbers and technology. Their scanners were powerful, their targeting systems near perfect. They assumed they could predict human behavior. But the humans had prepared for every assumption the Empire might make. As the fleet entered the nebula, their sensors became erratic. The swirling gases refracted signals, blocked energy beams, and created false readings. Human ships, small and agile, darted in and out of the mist, striking the Empire's largest vessels. Unidentified fighters, Captain Vane barked. Target them. The weapons fired, energy beams slicing through the nebula. But every shot missed. Human pilots twisted, rolled, and vanished in impossible maneuvers. They moved with intuition, improvisation, and timing that no AI could predict. Hayes watched from the station, her calm demeanor unshaken. Deploy the decoys, she ordered. Tiny drones, shaped like human ships, zipped into the nebula, carrying false energy signatures. The Imperial fleet, focusing on these targets, wasted precious shots and lost coordination. Mara Quinn and her squadron took advantage of the distraction. They flanked the Imperial ships, striking weak points. In minutes, several Imperial cruisers were damaged, and one heavy frigate was forced to retreat. Liam laughed. They're falling for it, Mara smiled. Never underestimate human cleverness. The humans' tactics were more than clever. They were unpredictable. Some pilots flew in formation so tight that they seemed like a single, massive ship. Others appeared out of nowhere, striking from angles the Empire hadn't calculated. Some used the gravity of nearby asteroids to swing around massive warships, hitting them where they thought they were safe. Even the Empire's most advanced AI calculations failed. Every attempt to predict human behavior ended in chaos. Ships collided, energy beams misfired, and commanders shouted in frustration. This is impossible, Admiral Corrin said, gripping the railing. They are everywhere at once, and yet coordinated. They are humans, Vane said through gritted teeth. We've seen this before. They survive. They adapt. They think differently. On the surface of Arden, civilians watched in awe. Screens in cities and towns displayed the battle. Children cheered as human ships weaved through massive Imperial warships like fish through water. Traders and farmers, far from the conflict, felt pride swell in their hearts. They're amazing, said a young girl, pointing at the screen. Look at how they move. Her father nodded. Humans are clever. We survive because we adapt. That's what makes us strong. Meanwhile, the Empire tried a new strategy. They sent fast attack ships to cut off human reinforcements. But humans anticipated this. They used older, slower freighters as bait, luring the attackers into asteroid traps. When the Imperial ships followed, hidden human fighters ambushed them from all directions. Captain Vane watched in disbelief. "They are turning our attacks against us," he muttered. "They are using our strength as weakness." Hayes gave the next command. "Focus on supply lines. Hit the communications. Make them chase shadows. Keep them off balance." The humans executed flawlessly. Energy beams scorched the hulls of Imperial vessels, but never enough to destroy them immediately. It was a psychological tactic. Each strike, each escape, made the Empire nervous. Each human maneuver reminded them that arrogance and size were not enough. In the midst of the battle, Mara Quinn led a small squadron on a daring mission. Their target was a heavily armed Imperial destroyer. Using the nebula's interference, they approached undetected. Mara's hands danced over the controls. "Hold tight, Liam. Follow my lead," she said. The Starhawk slipped past the destroyer's shields and fired precision missiles at critical points. The destroyer shook violently as engines sputtered and weapon systems failed. "They won't see us coming again," Liam said, smiling. "Good. We are human. We adapt. We survive," Mara replied. The Imperial fleet's morale began to crumble. Ships that were meant to intimidate now trembled under human ingenuity. Vane's confident facade started to crack. "They laugh at us," he said quietly, almost to himself. "They're laughing at the Galactic Empire." "Yes, sir," Corrin replied. "And yet, we cannot stop them." The humans' laughter, pride, and determination became a force of their own. Every human pilot understood the simple truth. The Empire was strong, but humans were smarter, faster, and more resourceful when pushed to the edge. Back on Arden, Hayes watched the battle unfold. Her eyes were calm but sharp. "Prepare the next wave," she instructed. "The Empire thinks they are strong. Let's remind them what humans are capable of." Small ships darted from hidden bases. Improvised weapons and clever tactics struck the Empire's formations from unexpected directions. The humans were everywhere, yet perfectly coordinated. The Empire's warships, built for power, struggled to respond. By the end of the day, the Imperial fleet was forced to retreat again, more battered and shaken than before. They had assumed speed, technology, and numbers would guarantee victory. But humans had something no machine could calculate: creativity, courage, and a refusal to yield. On Arden, civilians celebrated. Pilots returned to the stations, tired but triumphant. Commander Hayes smiled at her team. "They laughed at us yesterday," she said. "Today, we made them learn a lesson. And tomorrow, we show them that humans never stop, never surrender, and never underestimate what we can do." Mara Quinn leaned back, helmet off, exhausted but proud. "They thought they were unstoppable," she said softly. "They have no idea what humans can really do." Liam nodded. "We're just getting started." As night fell over Arden, the stars sparkled above like countless eyes watching the humans' defiance. The Galactic Empire had arrived, expecting easy victory. Instead, they found laughter, courage, and a species that refused to bow. The humans had won the first round, but the galaxy was far from safe. The Empire would return, stronger and angrier. Yet humans had already proven one thing: size, power, and technology were not enough to crush a species that fought with heart, mind, and spirit. Commander Hayes looked out at the stars. "We laugh," she said softly, "but we are ready. The Empire will learn that humans are not just survivors. We are unstoppable." And in that moment, every human pilot, every officer, every citizen felt it. The galaxy would remember this day, not as a defeat for humans, but as the moment the smallest and cleverest species made the Empire pause, rethink, and tremble. Humans had shown the first taste of their true strength, and they laughed while doing it. The day after their second victory, the humans on Arden prepared for the inevitable. Commander Elena Hayes stood in the center of the Arden Defense Station, eyes scanning the holographic displays. The Empire had retreated, but they were not defeated. They were angry, proud, and hungry for revenge. "Report," Hayes said calmly. Her voice carried a quiet authority. Lieutenant Juno Parks spoke quickly. "The Empire is regrouping. Their fleet is damaged but still large. They're calling in reinforcements from nearby sectors. Sensors indicate they are bringing at least 100 new ships." Hayes nodded, a small smile forming. "Good. Let them come. Let them see why humans cannot be underestimated." Far across space, Captain Ryloth Vane glared at the battered fleets in his command. His pride had been wounded by the humans' cleverness. The Empire's arrogance had assumed that humans were weak, disorganized, and predictable. Instead, humans were strong, smart, and unpredictable. "They think this is a game," Vane said to Admiral Corrin. "They think laughter and cleverness can defeat the Empire." Corrin shook his head. "Sir, they are humans. They survive because they adapt. Every move we make, they anticipate. Every attack we plan, they turn against us." Vane's fists clenched. "Then we crush them harder. Send more ships, more firepower. They will learn what the Empire is." But even Vane knew that brute force alone would not win this war. Humans fought differently. They used mind, courage, and teamwork. They were not machines, yet they were more precise than machines could ever be. On Arden, Hayes and her officers gathered around the strategic table. "They will send more ships, yes," she said, "but they underestimate what humans are capable of. We don't just fight with ships. We fight with strategy, creativity, and teamwork. Every pilot here knows their job. Today, we do not just defend, we strike." Mara Quinn checked the controls of her ship, the Starhawk, and looked at her squadron. "They think numbers win wars. They haven't seen humans in action. Today, we teach them lessons they won't forget." Liam Rojas grinned beside her. "I like teaching lessons." The Imperial fleet arrived in Arden's system, bigger and more menacing than before. Ships bristled with weapons, shields glowed with power, and engines roared as they formed a massive formation. Imperial scouts scanned the area for human activity. "They are out there," Vane said. "They must be. Find them." The Empire's sensors, though advanced, could not detect the humans hiding in the asteroid fields and nebulae. The humans were waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and when they did, it would be sudden and devastating. Hayes gave the order. Phase 1. Distraction. Small decoy drones launched from hidden bases. They looked like human ships on the sensors but were unmanned. The Empire focused on them, firing volleys of energy beams and missiles. Every shot was wasted, while humans observed from the shadows, preparing their real attack. "Now," Hayes said. Phase 2. Mara led her squadron out of hiding, weaving through the Imperial fire. Fighters twisted and turned in impossible formations. Their small size allowed them to dodge easily, while energy pulses and missiles from the humans struck the Empire's ships with precision. The Imperial fleet reeled. Their sensors could not keep up with the humans' movements. Every attack seemed to come from nowhere. Every strike was perfectly timed. Vane slammed his fist on the command table. "Impossible!" he shouted. "They cannot move like that," Corrin replied, his voice quiet but fearful. "Sir, humans are different. We cannot predict them." "Yes, and that is our problem," Vane growled. Human ingenuity shone brightest in the nebula region near Arden. Thick clouds of cosmic gas and dust interfered with the Empire's sensors, giving humans a perfect cover. Mara and her squadron used the nebula's interference to slip past the Imperial formation and attack the largest ships from behind. "Engage engines to maximum," Mara instructed. "We move like shadows." Ships darted forward, firing energy torpedoes at weak points. Imperial shields flared and sparked, but could not hold against the precision strikes. Several Imperial cruisers were disabled, forced to drift uselessly in space. "They never see it coming," Liam said, astonished. "Of course not," Mara replied with a grin. "We're humans. We think differently." The humans did not just fight, they planned every step ahead. Commanders on Arden coordinated strikes from multiple locations, confusing the Empire's fleet and forcing them into disarray. Some ships attacked from unexpected angles, while others created diversions. In one brilliant maneuver, a group of human freighters, seemingly slow and defenseless, led Imperial ships into an asteroid trap. Hidden human fighters waited, and the moment the Empire took the bait, the fighters struck. Explosions rocked the asteroid field as Imperial ships collided with debris and were destroyed or badly damaged. Vane's voice was tense. "Send in the Warlord fleet. They must stop them. Show no mercy." But humans were ready for that too. Using faster, smaller ships, they harassed the incoming fleet, striking supply ships and communication hubs. Every Imperial advance became a trap. The humans used the Empire's strength against them, turning heavy firepower into vulnerability. Hayes gave orders with calm precision. "Hit their engines, disable their weapons and retreat. Do not waste ships. Let them follow us into the trap." Even the youngest human pilots shined in the chaos. Mara noticed a new group of cadets navigating through enemy fire with unexpected skill. They used decoys, timing, and instinct to take down smaller ships. Their bravery inspired the veteran pilots and reminded the Empire that humans were not a species to underestimate. On the bridge of the Dominion's edge, Captain Vane was growing desperate. "They are everywhere! Everywhere at once!" he shouted. "We cannot stop them." Corrin spoke quietly. "Sir, their laughter. It is unnerving. They are mocking us." "They are mocking our arrogance," Vane admitted, "and it hurts more than any weapon." By mid-battle, the Empire was in full retreat again. Their formation broken, ships damaged, and morale shattered, they tried to regroup outside Arden's system. The humans did not pursue recklessly. They waited, observed, and prepared for the next engagement. Hayes spoke to her team. "They will come again. They always do. But remember this. Humans do not fight because we must. We fight because we can. We fight because we never back down. And above all, we fight with laughter in our hearts." On Arden, civilians watched the battle unfold on wide screens. Cheers erupted as human ships outmaneuvered the Empire once more. Children laughed, mimicking the agile moves of the fighters. Traders and workers stopped to watch, amazed at the humans' courage and skill. "They can't be stopped," said one observer quietly. "The Empire may be huge, but humans are smarter." Mara Quinn led her squadron back to Arden's orbit, exhausted but proud. "Another victory," she said, "and they still don't understand us." Liam Rojas laughed. "They never will. They think power is everything. But humans, we have something stronger. We have brains, courage, and each other." "Yes," Mara replied. "And laughter. Don't forget laughter." That night, the humans of Arden celebrated. Ships were repaired, plans were made, and every pilot and officer knew that the Empire would return. But now, they also knew this. The humans could survive, adapt, and overcome anything. Commander Hayes looked at the stars. "They think they can intimidate us," she said softly. "They think size and firepower are enough. But humans are unstoppable, and they will laugh while doing it." In the dark reaches of space, Captain Vane stared at the stars above Arden. "They laugh at us," he muttered. "They survive against all odds. They are humans, and we cannot control them." Corrin added quietly, "We have learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate humanity." But even as the Empire withdrew, angered and humiliated, humans knew that the greatest battles were still ahead. And when the next wave came, they would be ready, not just to fight, but to show the galaxy the cleverness, courage, and spirit that made humans legendary. For humans, every challenge was a game to outthink, every threat an opportunity to prove themselves. And every enemy, no matter how powerful, would face the laughter of a species that refused to bow. Humans had survived again. Humans had triumphed again. And they laughed, knowing that the best was yet to come. The galaxy was tense. Arden's skies, calm and beautiful, hid the preparation for the greatest battle humans had ever faced. Commander Elena Hayes stood on the bridge of Arden Defense Station, calm yet focused. The Imperial fleet had returned, stronger, faster, and angrier than ever. They had learned from their previous defeats, or at least they thought they had. Hayes knew better. They may have power, she said quietly, but humans have courage, cleverness, and each other. Today, they will learn what humans can do. Far across the stars, Captain Ryloth Vane stared at the Arden system. His pride had been wounded multiple times, yet he believed victory was within reach. His fleet was massive, nearly 200 ships bristling with weapons and shields. He had brought his finest warlord, Admiral Corrin, to oversee the campaign personally. "They think they can survive again?" Vane muttered, gripping the railing. "We will crush them today. No mercy, no hesitation." Corrin studied the displays. "Sir, humans are unpredictable. We have seen it before. They are unlike any other species." Vane shook his head. "Then we must be stronger. If force fails, we overwhelm them. And if that fails, we will adapt." What Vane did not realize was that adaptation alone was not enough. Humans had something that machines, power, and numbers could never match: imagination, unity, and daring spirit. On Arden, the human fleet was already in position. Ships of all sizes, fighters, freighters converted to battlecruisers, and sleek scout vessels, hovered near the planet. Every pilot knew their role. Every officer understood the strategy. Every human knew the stakes. Mara Quinn checked her Starhawk systems. "This is it," she said to co-pilot Liam Rojas. "The Empire thinks they are coming to finish us. They don't know what's waiting for them." Liam grinned. "Then let's show them." Hayes activated the station's tactical display. "Today we use the choke point maneuver," she said. "We lure the Imperial fleet into the narrow corridor between the asteroid belt and the gas cloud. Their large ships cannot maneuver freely there. Our small, agile ships will strike from all directions. They will be trapped." The officers nodded. The plan was bold, almost risky. But humans thrived on risk. They did not rely on sheer power. They relied on cleverness and courage. The Empire approached Arden with full force. Vane's flagship, Dominion's Edge, led the fleet. Energy beams flashed as ships fired at random targets, trying to hit humans who had vanished into the shadows. But the humans were already in position. Hayes gave the order. Phase 1. Lure them in. Decoy ships, small freighters modified to appear like battle cruisers, darted out from Arden's orbit. The Empire, seeing what it thought was the bulk of the human fleet, pursued recklessly. They entered the asteroid corridor, engines roaring, shields high, unaware that humans were waiting. "Now!" Hayes shouted. Human fighters emerged from hidden positions, twisting and rolling through the narrow corridor. From every angle they struck. Torpedoes targeted engines, missiles disabled weapon systems, and precision fire crippled large Imperial ships. Every move was calculated, yet appeared spontaneous, a perfect combination of planning and instinct. Mara Quinn led her squadron on a daring mission. They flew directly at the Dominion's edge, weaving through energy beams. "Engage the rear engines," she commanded. Her squadron fired missiles at precise points, causing the massive flagship to falter and drift, unable to respond. Liam Rojas shouted in excitement. "We got them! The flagship is disabled!" "Good work," Mara said, "but stay focused. The battle isn't over yet." The Empire struggled to respond. Their formations broke apart. Ships collided with debris and each other. Energy beams misfired or struck empty space. Vane's confidence crumbled as he watched his carefully planned attack fall apart. "They cannot be stopped," he muttered. "They are humans." Corrin added quietly, "We have underestimated them too many times. Never again, sir. But can we even overcome them now?" Vane remained silent, his pride wounded beyond repair. Meanwhile, humans continued their clever maneuvers. Some ships used the corridor's walls to hide, emerging suddenly to strike critical points. Others circled behind enemy ships, disabling engines and communication arrays. Every attack was precise, calculated, and devastating. On the surface of Arden, civilians watched in awe. Children cheered as human fighters darted across the stars. Traders, farmers, and engineers celebrated the courage and skill of their defenders. Pride filled every heart. Humans were not just surviving, they were winning. Hayes activated the next phase of the plan. Phase 2. Divide and conquer, she said. Human ships split into multiple groups, each attacking a different section of the Imperial fleet. The sudden division caused confusion among the enemy. They were massive, powerful, but slow to react. The humans' agility gave them the advantage. Mara Quinn and her squadron found themselves facing a group of smaller Imperial cruisers. With speed and precision, they disabled engines, knocked out weapon systems, and forced the ships to retreat. "We are everywhere," Mara said, smiling, "and they cannot stop us." Liam added, laughing, "They thought numbers would win. Humans always find another way." The battle reached its peak near the center of the corridor. Imperial warlord ships attempted to regroup and counterattack. They fired energy beams and missiles in every direction, trying to regain control. But humans anticipated the moves. They had prepared for every eventuality, using teamwork, instinct, and courage to turn every enemy advance into an opportunity. In one brilliant maneuver, humans trapped a group of heavy cruisers between the gas cloud and a cluster of asteroids. Their engines jammed, their weapons disabled, and they drifted helplessly. The human squadron fired from multiple directions, striking simultaneously. Explosions lit the corridor like miniature suns. Captain Vane's fury reached its peak. "Retreat!" he shouted, but many of his ships were already disabled. The remaining fleet struggled to escape, damaged and disorganized. The humans, however, did not give chase recklessly. They knew that the Empire was beaten, but they would finish the fight smartly. Commander Hayes smiled. "Prepare the final strike. Focus on their command ships. End this battle without unnecessary losses." Mara Quinn led the squadron in a daring assault on the remaining Imperial flagship. Energy beams cut through the darkness, but the Starhawk twisted and dodged every shot. In a final strike, the squadron fired precision missiles at the ship's engine cores. The massive ship shook, sparks flying, and then drifted, disabled and defeated. "They underestimated us," Mara said softly. "And now they will remember." Liam nodded. "They laughed at us. Now it's their turn to learn." The rest of the Imperial fleet, seeing their leaders defeated, began to retreat in full. They had learned a harsh lesson. Humans were not a species to underestimate. Technology, numbers, and arrogance were meaningless against a species that fought with heart, mind, and spirit. On Arden, celebrations erupted. Ships returned to orbit, damage repaired, systems restored. Pilots and officers gathered in the command room, tired but triumphant. Commander Hayes looked at her team. "They laughed at us before," she said, "but humans have shown the galaxy who we are. Today we defended our home, our people, and our pride, and we laughed while doing it." Far away, in the depths of space, Captain Vane watched the retreating humans. He clenched his fists, silent and humiliated. "They are humans," he muttered. "We cannot control them. They are different." Admiral Corrin nodded. "Yes, sir. And we have learned something vital. Never underestimate humanity." Vane stared into the stars, anger and respect mingling. The Empire had faced countless civilizations, conquered many worlds, and thought themselves unstoppable. Yet humans had survived, adapted, and triumphed against the odds. On Arden, humans celebrated not just victory but unity. Civilians cheered, engineers repaired ships, pilots shared stories of daring maneuvers, and children mimicked the movements of their heroes in the skies. Humanity had proven itself capable of outsmarting, outmaneuvering, and outlasting an empire. Hayes walked to the observation deck, gazing at the stars. "The Empire will return someday," she said quietly. "Stronger, faster, and angrier. But they will always remember what humans are capable of. And when they do, they will hesitate because humans never give up. Humans never surrender. Humans always find a way." Mara Quinn joined her, smiling. We fought hard, Commander, and we laughed while doing it. Yes, Hayes replied. And that laughter, that is what makes us unstoppable. As the night settled over Arden, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging the courage and ingenuity of humans. The galaxy had witnessed a new truth. Humans were not fragile, insignificant, or predictable. They were clever, daring, and resilient. They were the species that laughed at threats, adapted to danger, and triumphed against impossible odds. Humans had faced the Empire, and they had won. They had laughed, not out of mockery, but out of confidence, pride, and unshakable spirit. The legend of Arden and its defenders would echo across the stars, reminding every species in the galaxy, never underestimate humanity. And in the hearts of every human, from the smallest child to the bravest pilot, there was one simple, unshakable truth. Humans endure, humans adapt. Humans triumph, and humans laugh while doing it.